Hey,
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm a little less fancy today because I'm just coming off of work. So,
You know what? I have to say, I appreciate your time. The time zone thing with us Londoners is an issue, but I appreciate you taking the time today to talk to me. So, thank you, thank you.
it's
Bef
cool. It's cool.
I'm excited to talk about your journey in a second, but for anyone who is watching this back on replay on YouTube, I'm just going to give it a quick spiel about what this show is about. So, my show is called Be the Artist, and Becoming the Artist was originally the title where I was exploring music for the first time, and I had no clue. I had a very different background, and I thought, what do I know about music? And I knew nothing. At such a late stage of my life, I wanted to learn what it's like to record, write, release music. And then last year, I just went for it. I released 3 singles. It was an amazing experience. But I wanted to understand what longevity means. You know, having 1 year, 2 years, it's great, but also there's more to it than just throwing some singles out and seeing if something sticks. So
Right.
I'm meeting people from all across the world, and yourself included. I've met some great artists, so you can watch the playlist back, and you can see all across the world there are different experiences. And I'm so grateful to be joined with by David Givens. Is that how you pronounce it?
That's how you pronounce it. Yeah.
Yay, yay. So David is an amazing artist from the US, and he has a new single which we'll get into. But before we get into that, let me hand it over to you. Introduce yourself, where you're from, how long you've been doing music, and then we can dive in.
Okay, cool. Hi, David. Nice to meet you. If you haven't met me, hello. I'm from a really tiny town in South Carolina. I've been doing music, I would say professionally since 2015. So, hey, been here for a while. Still new, been here for a while. Um, but I've always been enamored with music since I was two. My first song I ever sang was "I Will Always Love You" by Whitney Houston. I'm a huge Whitney fan. Yay! Um, and I just felt like music was just always something I was born to do. It was my God-given gift, and you know, I just now use it for making fun music, music that matters, music that resonates with people, music that heals, and music that gives back.
That's amazing. That is an amazing story. Whitney, always a great choice. I think an inspiration to many vocalists across the world. I was doing a bit of deep diving. So there's a cover on your SoundCloud of the Swedish House Mafia song "Hi Beth" called "Don't You Worry, Child." Yeah, I did. I dived into the archives.
Oh God.
It's an amazing cover. But also, do you ever look back at some of your, first, putting music out into the world and think like, actually, I'm really proud of that, or I'd change something about that, or
I'll be honest with you. There are some songs I look back and I'm like, you know what, this sounded good at the moment, but most times I'm like, oh, I'm just cringe. I'm just like, oh God, God, cringe, absolute cringe. Because I was starting out and I didn't know. Because I'm a church singer. I was raised in church. If you're from the South and you were singer, you was raised in church. Um, and in church singing, you don't really know how to place vocals, and you just go with the feeling.
right,
So looking back then, I look at it not some of it I look at as there's growth, and some of it I want to go back and re-record. I think
right,
with that song, it was me just stepping out and being brave and just putting something out. It was just me
yeah,
being absolutely brave back then, and I was still in college.
yeah.
I did that.
That you know what, I think that's interesting because the song, although it's like the version that is the original version is so upbeat and it's a bit of a dance mix in there. The lyrics are quite emotive in themselves. So it's interesting that you say that obviously as you started writing your own music that's quite a big connection to the stuff that you write, but it was there early on. Do you ever connect to music like that as well?
Yeah, well, listen, when it comes to music like that, I've always been raised on that. Like I said, I love Whitney, but I also raised on Disney music that was about emotion, and that was about feeling, and that was about um, what's the word I would like to say for it? just basically just being epic, just epic music. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. No, I think it's powerful, right? A lot of if your music does make someone feel some type of way beyond just like, okay, it's a good tune, I think it's super powerful.
Mhm.
When you went through your journey, were there any releases that you saw the most success in? Yes to Disney. We've got a comment. Yes to Disney. Disney. There's, you know what? Disney works because it connects with people, right? Um, yeah. So
Yeah.
I
I'm a
think it
Disney
even
nerd,
connects.
so anybody who wants to take me to Disney World, I am down. I've never been to Disney Paris. We might need to make that happen. We need to make that happen.
Okay. We need
Might
you.
need-
We need you to do the next Disney soundtrack.
Crossing fingers.
So we're
Crossing.
putting it out in the atmosphere. Actually, on that note, which Disney film would you want to, or which song would you ever want to sing? Like, if it could be your song, which one would it be?
Go the distance,
Go
hands
the.
down.
You didn't even hesitate. You said go the distance.
Go the distance, hands down. Can't. Nope. That's it. We're running with that one. I cannot listen to that song without crying. The Michael Bolton version. I can't listen to it without crying. I will literally cry because I feel that keeps me motivated to keep going, especially when in this industry, in this business, where it's a lot. It's hard. It is hard. It's a hard business, but that song just keeps me going, saying like, I don't care how hard it is. I don't care, what's coming my way. I'm gonna keep pushing until I get there.
Yeah, that's amazing. Bethan Wynn, who's also in the chat. She's an amazing vocalist, so please do go check her out as
I
well. I
will. I
think
will. I
actually
will.
she should do a Bond like theme tune for me personally. But she says "Colors of the Wind" is her Disney go-to.
Love that
So
one.
that's a good
Love
shout.
Colors of the Wind.
If there was a Disney movie that you could be in, I don't want this whole interview to be about Disney, but now that we're on the topic, which one would it be? Which is your like one that you can watch again and again?
Sleeping Beauty.
I love how you do not hesitate at all. It's just straight answers. I love it. You are a
It's
fan.
because I love villains. I love villains. I'm sorry.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's interesting.
It's Maleficent. Listen, Maleficent was that girl.
She was a baddie. She was a baddie. Maleficent was a baddie. So that's interesting. But moving on from Disney, when you put your music out, I notice "When I Fall" is one of your songs that you kind of did a little bit later on. Really picked up by quite a lot of producers in terms of the remixes that you've uploaded as well. Um, what was that song like for you, and to see kind of it being revamped in different ways? How exciting was that?
And that was super exciting. Originally, we released "When I Fall" back in 2020 during the pandemic, like at the start of the pandemic. And I
Right.
had all these massive ideas for it because this was a song I sat on for 2 years. I
Okay.
really thought I couldn't sing it. I was going to sell it off because it was really painful from a painful experience. Um, but I went back because I had to fill up a slot on the EP.
Mm,
And I literally was like, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's see what happens. And because I couldn't do all the stuff that I really wanted to do, right?
mm,
I said, let's re-release it in 2021. We did the music video. We did the live show. We did like a mini concert tour for that song, doing different open mics, different shows and stuff like that. And to see where it is now, almost at 10,000, it's it's amazing. It's just the power of that song, like um, especially what it means to people who are on the brink, dealing with mental health, dealing with suicide and all that kind of stuff. It is an important single, a very important single.
yeah, no, I think again, like I don't want to shift onto the latest release just yet, but a lot of your music is quite emotional and real and raw. So how did you overcome that like doubt, you know, as an artist, I think a lot of people experience that, right? Like they're like, oh, maybe this is not right for me, or I'm too nervous to put this out. What was
Mhm.
that point for you that you're like, okay, no, I'm doing it, like it's going out?
Um, what was that point of just do? Now that's a really good question. I think I just went with my gut. That's the most I can say. I just went with my
Fair.
gut and just said I I want to do it because there was no time like today because tomorrow's never promised. Tomorrow's never
Right,
promised.
right,
Um, I started this doing this professionally because it was something that my sister wanted me to pursue, and when she passed, it kind of took a huge toll on me. And the last thing she said to me before she passed was, "Do what you need to do. Do what you need to do."
yeah,
And at the time, I was in grad school, my first grad school for theater, and I wasn't happy there. I was ready to quit. They weren't giving me what I wanted, and I left. Took a job as a teacher. Hey, been here for 5 years. Um, and I decided just to do music professionally on my own terms,
mm,
and that meant just dropping it, getting ego out the way, and just doing what you have to do, and just letting
yeah.
people embrace the music how they embrace it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that's fair. And so obviously, sorry to hear for your loss as well that you've experienced. But you know, what a lovely message to leave behind. That you know, pursue your dreams the way you need to do that. You know, just go for it. So essentially, although that experience may have been so emotionally heavy, it's you know spurred some amazing things for you in your life, and obviously through the music, you know, that's part of her legacy living on, essentially. So I think it's an incredible thing that you're not letting your sort of, it's not even ego. Sometimes it's fair, right? That we get scared about, like, actually, if I'm put myself out there so vulnerably, like music in itself, singing in itself is like putting yourself out there, and add the layer of personal experience, that becomes overwhelming. So for you to kind of just go for it, I think is very inspiring, and yeah, it's an amazing thing to hear you do. So you should be proud of that. Yeah, I think one of the, you know, if we move on to the single frequencies, obviously, again, it covers, I mean, it's an amazing, beautifully sung track. It definitely caught my attention as soon as I heard it. And then beyond that as well, the messaging again falls aligned with, you know, just healing, and particularly for men. I think as guys, I think we don't talk about how we feel a lot of the times. um with your personal experience in your life, how have you kind of dealt with mental health and expression in a way that guys sometimes kind of are afraid to talk about?
Whew. Well, I can honestly tell you that growing up, I was always emotionally open. I was never one to say I'm gonna hold it all in, because to me, as guys, we hold so much in because we feel like nobody cares. We feel that nobody wants to listen to our experiences. No one wants to listen to.
Not sure. I'm so
We
sorry. Not sure what happened there. I was like, I was so like intensely listening, and then suddenly it just disappeared. But sorry about that.
Somebody
Um,
didn't want the message to go out. Somebody.
sorry, and we were just in such a deep place as well. And
We
then
were
we just
getting
lost
deep
it.
in that. We were getting deep in this interview, everybody. We were digging
uh,
deep.
yes, we were getting deep. Okay. So you know, you mentioned that you're quite as a child, you're quite open in expressing your emotions. So I, not that it's not, it makes it easier, because I think even being open sometimes it still makes some of the topics quite hard to discuss. But how have you been able to be, you know, so open with all your music and everything you do?
Because there's somebody out there who is probably dealing with the same thing. You never
Right.
know what song is going to touch somebody. Like, I wrote a song called Delusion. You may never know that someone might be dealing with, a disgruntled ex who just wants to keep coming back. You never know. You never know if someone might be dealing with, you know, suicide, and that's what we have When I Fall. I always feel like songs and music, they shape generations. They shape
Mm.
people's state of mind. They shape people how people view things. And as artists, we have that power to shape someone. So I would rather use my power for good to shape how men handle their mental health, how men handle their emotional states in a healthy way.
That's amazing. That's amazing. But you know what? Despite being like, obviously, that's an amazing concept in itself, being open and expressive about how you feel. But for a lot of people, men or women, it's sometimes quite difficult to talk about. You know, we live in a age where everything is on social media. No one is ever going to put a photo of them getting upset. No one's going to talk about the really dark, deep days that they're experiencing. And it's hard sometimes to feel like actually a lot of people experience the same things. You know, loss is something last year we've seen a lot of. You know, a lot of people have lost someone, and you know, all of a sudden, unexpected. So it's a strange space to be in the development of social media and where we are in as a society. But it's amazing, like artists like yourself stay true to that, because I think in every song, really, you've not ventured away from. I mean, again, I don't know if it's personal experience, but touching the points of mental health, how you're feeling, expressing emotions, which sometimes, like a party song is great, like for a party, but these sort of songs are real. You know, this is everyday. This is everyday feelings for a lot of people. So, I think Frequency is an amazing track, and obviously you've kind of partnered up with Special Olympics and Black Men Heal as well, to where the proceeds are going. Talk a bit more about those two organizations.
Absolutely. So, if you guys don't know, I work with special needs kids as a 9 to 5. So, there you go.
Right.
I lost one of my students in September of last year. He passed in his sleep. And in honor of that student, I wanted to give back to Special Olympics. And the reason for that is he was an amazing athlete. All he wanted to do was run and play. Great 11-year-old kid. And I felt like it was my duty to, you know, raise that awareness of inclusiveness. And Special Olympics is a great organization that promotes inclusiveness among athletes within schools and recreational sports. And so, yeah, that's Special Olympics. As far as Black Men Heal is an organization that destigmatizes um, mental health awareness in Black communities, especially among Black men. So many times in the Black community, especially here in America, we tend to sweep our mental health underneath the rug and never really say anything until it's too late.
Mm.
Suicide is super high among Black men, especially Black kids, Black boys, and even higher with Black boys who are LGBTQ plus.
Mm.
I feel like that organization to me meant a lot because it's creating a safe space for Black men to talk about their mental health, creating a safe space for Black men to get the resources and the help that they need. And in
Mm.
doing so, you're preventing another suicide. You're preventing another mental breakdown. You're preventing self-harm. And that's all what it's
Yeah.
all about.
That's honestly, those are amazing causes. So I think anyone watching this back, please do go support the single Frequency. It's on all streaming platforms, and I'll also link it in the description. Um, I think you kind of touched upon, particularly with Black Men Hill and their cause. Why do you think in particularly minority communities, mental health is an even bigger issue, and actually disproportionately compared to our white counterparts? So, why do you think that is, and what can we do to kind of educate our own personal communities?
Well, again, from experience, it's mostly because when minority groups like Black, people of color, back in the day, it was deemed as weak to
Right,
bring up those situations. It was taboo. You couldn't talk about it.
right.
And like I said, they tend to sweep it underneath the rug. They will never speak of it. They will say, it's a spirit instead of getting that person help. And it trickles down. It goes from generation to generation. It's basically almost like a generational curse.
Mm,
And something's got to give, because now you're seeing all these men and women and children having all these issues that are unresolved, trauma that's unresolved, and we're just hiding it
Right.
because we don't want to be seen as weak. We don't want to be seen as broken. We don't want to be seen as we're not fixable, but we are fixable.
Yeah.
We're not weak people. We do have problems. Yeah, we can be strong, but when is it going to be a time for you to put the walls down and be vulnerable?
Right. I think you made like a very interesting point there with the connection of in particularly like ethnic communities, there is like a connection with like blaming mental health onto something else. And obviously you grew up in the church with gospel music. Do you think there could be more done in sort of religious communities in trying to say, actually, there's a lot we can do? Because it's all about brotherhood, right? Like whatever religion you're part of, it's about feeling connected. And do you think there's enough done about mental health in these kind of environments?
There's so much more that can be done, especially within churches and religious spaces, where we can have those spaces be safe spaces to talk about our problems and talk about our mental health, talk about our spiritual. We talk about the spiritual health, but it's more than just spiritual. It's got to be all different types of health: mental, physical, emotional. It's all got to be come together as one. And so there's so much more that we can do in these religious spaces to be like, hey, yes, we are a place to seek God, but we're also a place to get you the help right here on earth as well.
Right.
Different resources, such as finding counselors, finding therapists, finding even holistic treatments for mental health.
Right. Do you think, obviously a lot of musicians talk about music being that therapy for them. Was writing the track, writing Frequency, was that part of the process of you expressing your feelings and your emotions with the situation it was
Yeah,
based on?
yes. I really didn't have any writing. Like, let me go back up. Blah. With Frequency, I really didn't have any mind frame of where to go with that. I just wrote it because I was dealing with COVID. Number one, I just lost two cousins, and then my student passed away around the same week. It was like bam, 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 and I just wrote what I was feeling. It was kind of like a journal entry, and I just wrote.
Right.
And I looked at it. I said, "That's a song." Next 2 weeks
Right.
later, after I recovered, I went to the studio and recorded it.
It's amazing. It's
Yep.
amazing. And that now, hopefully, in that small situation for you of, journaling, that is there for helping other people maybe going through something similar. So I think it's an amazing, amazing song. So again, guys, if you haven't checked out Frequency, please do go check it out. All the proceeds go to the Special Olympics and Black Men Heal as well, which is fantastic causes to be involved with. On a more positive note, it's still a positive note. You're helping healing the world. So what is there for the future for you? Hi Dom. What you got plans? I know there may potentially be a tour in Lancaster. I did a bit of snooping on your SoundCloud, and I did see some music performances. Are we expecting more music, more performance, more videos?
Yes, yes, and yes. There is an album coming.
Oh yes. Okay.
If I had to give an inspiration for the album, I know the next two songs are kind of Little Mix inspired.
Okay, so you're being inspired by us Brits. I love it. I love it. Okay.
I'm a fan. I'm a mixer. I'm a fan.
What
I'm
are
a
your
fan.
what are your thoughts, not to get controversial, but Little Mix had a bit of controversy, obviously, with one of the bandmates leaving. I don't know how big it was across across in the
Oh, it's
States, but
huge. It was huge over here.
okay,
Listen,
okay.
whew. Um, here's my thing. Here's my take on it. They need a break. They've been going nonstop for 10 years. I think we should allow them to grow and develop. and give them 4 years. They'll come back together as a foursome. I'm putting that out there. They will. In the meantime, we have, the Between Us album came out. You guys got the tour. We don't have a tour over here. We've never had a Little Mix tour. Super jealous about that. So, like I said,
Well, I was just going to say, but on that note, if you're not getting a Little Mix tour in the States, they've got your music to look forward to because it's Little Mix inspired. So, if anything, you can go on tour and they can get a bit of Little Mix through that. So that's amazing. What can you tell us about the album? Have you recorded everything? Is everything complete?
not everything. Not everything.
Okay.
We still got a couple more songs to go. You're going to see a couple more songs come out during the course of the year, if you're fingers crossed, completing by October. What's taking so much time on it? Grad school.
That's cool. It's life. It's life. Life takes over sometimes. So at least there'll be the work that you put into it is going to come from like really trying to get the music out because your 9 to 5 is completely different. So that's super, super amazing. In terms of concepts and themes, what can we expect? Will you be talking? We know you'll be very emotive in whatever topic you'll be talking about. What as an album are you kind of working on in terms of themes?
I'll tell you this much because I'm the one pushing the button on it, so I can say this. I have no secrets about this album. Might be secret songs, but I have no secrets about this. This album's called Resurgence.
Nice.
Called Resurgence. It originally was called Phoenix, but based on everything that happened and the writing of Frequency, I felt like Resurgence is a better title for this album. The themes kind of is a conclusion to what I started with when Electric Kingdom Volume 1, Innocence and Fall, which was a great EP. If y'all haven't heard it, go do that. And it's just a continuation of what's going on story-wise so far. All the songs are interlocking stories that come together in the end, and mostly the themes are about picking yourself up, picking up the pieces, and starting over. Being a new person, but being a stronger version of yourself.
Incredible message to put out there. I can't wait to hear it. In terms of genre as well, are you exploring different sounds, or are we going to get something more Disney, as you mentioned? Are we going to get something different?
We are basically going to have multiple genres. So you've got Latin, you've got EDM, you have a little bit of dubstep.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. You have soca and calypso for my Trinidad people.
Yes,
it's different genres, but they'll be sonically cohesive.
Amazing. We have a question in the chat. By Country Chat with Dom. Also, go check him out. He does a podcast, a radio show for country music. So do go check that out. Is there a set number
country,
of? See, if you have country, connect with Dom, and he can dive into country music with you. He does ask: is there a set number of tracks on the album, and will there be physical copies?
I can't tell you the set number of tracks on the album. I can't tell you that. That part I can't tell you.
Can't get all the exclusives.
but if you guys want physical copies, there will be physical copies.
Great. I love your artwork actually for Frequency. Who designed that? And will we getting more? Oh, really? It's incredible. Yeah. I like it. I love that. Oh, cool. Do you design all your artwork?
Yes.
Amazing. That's very exciting. So, album, will there be videos too? I'd love some visuals.
Working on that. I'm actually in talks right now to do something pretty big. I can't say what it is yet. Can't say.
Okay. I think he's given me too many exclusives, guys. So if you want to find out more, please do go check out David at David's World 1898 on Instagram, but also again David Gibbons on all streaming platforms, and you can find and listen to his music. So David, thank you so much for taking the time to connect with me. It's been a lovely chatting with you. I'm so happy that I found an artist also who is, you know, super excited and passionate about mental health, and the music has been fantastic to dive into. So thank you so much. Any final
Thank you for having me.
messages?
And
Oh,
listen, you are an amazing artist yourself. I heard you sing, and I was like,
thank you.
oh, he's really good. He's
Oh,
really
thank
good.
you.
And also, thank you to all my coworkers for walking back and forth. They were guest starring on this.
I was just going to say thank you to the co-workers who made a special appearance. It was entertaining. Do you want to give them a shout out? Do you want to give anyone a shout out right now?
Absolutely. I would like to shout out all the way from America with the teachers and staff and faculty of Well Branch Middle School. They're amazing people. They're awesome. I love each and every one of them. They work so hard, especially those who worked super hard during the pandemic. Listen, all of you are awesome. Just want to let you know that.
Yes, you guys are amazing, and thank you for doing what you guys do, because it takes a lot, and you guys are doing amazing work for the world and for the people out there. So thank you so much. Okay, well, if there is other music projects that are coming up, please again do go check out the socials. All the links will be in the description already. Thank you, David, so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and Frequency is out now. Thank you so much.
Bye,
Thank
y'all.
you. Take care. Bye-bye.